Well, with shaking knees and sweaty palms, I was walking in for an interview at a church in Chicago to become one of their pastors. And as I'm walking by, there was a beautiful painting of an old ship that the waves were crashing over it, and it was in turbulent seas. Beneath it was a saying, "Smooth seas don't make good sailors." Well, hey, my name's Chace Steeves. I'm one of the associate pastors at the Fallbrook campus. As we continue our series of faith in action, I want to pick it up in James chapter 1, where you see faith in action and adversity. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of various kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Others are steadfastness or patience. And this verse instantly makes me think of a friend of mine. Her name's Valerie Geifer. Her and Randy are life group leaders for us at the Fallbrook campus. Actually, one of the first couples I recruited. For the last 9 months, she has battled with a very intense and fast pancreatic cancer. And probably by the time this is filmed, she will be face to face with Jesus. But to watch her and her husband navigate this trial with such joy, it's been so encouraging for me. So I want to share a little bit about that with you. But I want to understand what comes through adversity and through trials. First thing is perseverance. The definition of perseverance is doing something despite difficult failure or opposition. And it's important to note that faith is tested in this. It's not produced, right? It's a testing of our faith in that moment. What's produced is perseverance. It's kind of that idea of that smooth seas don't make good sailors. The captain, it's easy to be a captain in the harbor, but when the waves crash, your ability to captain the ship is put into practice. Same is true with our Christian faith. I've heard it says it takes it from the theoretical to the reality of let me now apply this faith to the day-to-day stuff. And if we do it right, it makes us stronger. Another beautiful thing about trials is that it brings hope to those around us. You see, God wants to use your scars, the pain of whatever you've gone through, to tell his story of his faithfulness, of his goodness, of his love for you, of his power, and maybe of his calmness in your life. And you see, people are always watching us. They're curious, how does that believer react in a difficult season? Are we full of this hope that comes from the Lord that it doesn't make sense? Chase, I just lost my job. We have to sell our house and move out of state. I have a family member who's dying of a serious disease. Or maybe you've lost someone. The world's looking at that and seeing, how does the believer respond? Is there a hope that's greater than this world? And it's a beautiful testimony that we can share God's story with those we interact with. So how do we get through adversity? We do it with joy. James says, consider it pure joy. And that may be hard for you, and I get it. How do I have joy when this is going on? I want to show you probably one of my favorite ministry pictures ever. This is me and JD with our friend Valerie. This was back in April, and she was in the hospital and didn't know if she was going to make it from the cancer at that moment. And then she realized, I'm bald from the chemo that she has. You're bald and you're bald. Let's get a photo. We're the bald triplets. And look at that smile. Amongst the pain of the cancer and the chemo, she finds joy that's not of this world. How does she do it? I think she relies upon the Holy Spirit to face those trials of God with his promise that he is with us. The promise that God is returning soon, that he's going to go before you. The promise that God fights that battle for you. The promise that you are loved dearly, that you can't go anywhere without the love of Christ pursuing you. The promise that he's never going to leave you or forsake you. The promise of security of your faith, that you are a child of his and nothing can take that away. You see, I think amongst the trials is relying on the promises of the Lord. Spurgeon says it this way, and I want to end with this. It says, I have looked back to times of trial with a kind of longing, not to have them return, but to have the strength of God as I have felt it then, to feel the power of faith as I had felt it then, to hang upon God's powerful arm as I hung upon it then, and to see God at work as I saw him then. You see, that's perseverance. Maybe for you, you're resting in that state of perseverance where you've gone through that trial and you can say, I've clung to the arm of the Father. And maybe for others of you, you're going through the trial right now. What promise of the Lord do you need to cling to today? Dosers, I love spending time with you. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.